Hello, Nerdlings. It's another week where we go looking at this campaign dragon of Icespire Peak. We're on AXEHOLM, which looks a little bit like this. Not like that. Looks a little bit like... Come on, computer. This. So yeah, it's a big dungeon, I guess. Castle sort of thing, fortification. The point of this being that if all goes to pot in the village, that we can move the entire populace over here. That is the quest that is given to this location, and it's quite a dull location, I think, for such a huge place, which seems like a climactic, place to have a great big fight and a finale. It's really not that, but of course could be. So yeah, we're going to have a look. I've written down some notes, room by room, and we're going to use some books to just add some trinkets, because I think that's what this thing needs. But first, I would like to just do some admin. When starting StreamYard today, I got a notification saying about referrals and that an automatic link would be put in the description. If you do stream or consider streaming, this service I use every week is free. This is the free version. It completely suits my needs and may suit your needs. So it's very easy to use. There's a paid version, but it's stupid price compared to like OBS, but OBS is overly technical. So yeah, if that's something of interest to you, I don't know, go to the link if you want. In other news, Tomb of Annihilation episode 1 went out. I'm glad it's out, and I'm glad it reached 100 views. That kind of made it worthwhile. And to be fair, I think this episode is the worst of this series because I actually my camera fluffed up on the lighting of the first Tomb of Annihilation episode, and I wasn't happy with that one. But from here on, the videos should be alright. But yeah, I personally wasn't happy with that one. But we had enough views to make it worthwhile. So, I guess we go to the module. If I add this to stage. And let me mess about on here. We don't want that. We want location overview and remove this. Add this. What we like for size here? Maybe that's better. Okay, so AXEHOLM itself is a dwarven fortress carved into the base of a mountain 15 miles south of Phandalin. So that means travel. But there's a sentence that says they get there just fine. A day-long journey takes the characters across grassy lowlands that skirt the rocky foothills. The trek passes without incident. Says who? Says bloody who? So I instinctively want to look in my GM Fantasy Toolkit Roll and Play Press. I have links in the description. Does it have journey and events, meadow encounters, possible mountain encounters? Let's go meadow encounters for a quick table. See what we can drum up on the way to AXEHOLM. Meadow encounters, it's a D20 12 table. Let's go 369. It's 3. So on the way, territorial hornets have a huge nest within a tree not nearby and will violently chase off any trespassers. That makes travel, even that makes it much more interesting. Number 6. Something stalks the players within the longer grass. Turns out to be just a curious boar. It's a fake out, but it gets them ready and keeps them on their toes. I like that. One's a literal, oh yeah, I can see this is going to be a problem. Others are, what is that? And number 9, a pillar of black smoke marks the sky. A nearby stable is blazing with bright blue flames and the horses are trapped. So just there we have walking encounters, 3 options, which just overrule the nothing happens on the way to AXEHOLM. And it's just better, isn't it? It's just, it's up to you, of course, as the dungeon master. But I would overrule the nothing happens on the way. It's not actually it's not that far a walk. What does it say? It's a day long, though. It's a day's walk. Yes, it could pass without incidents. All it says really is that cool winds and rain are blowing in from the Sword Coast. Now, I did purchase a weather die. And literally, you might have seen them on the Amazon or whatever. It's a D12, effectively, but it has a weather condition, a cloud with rain, a sunshine, stormy. And I like to, when I remember, to be fair, but I like to roll that for random weather. It adds a little something, maybe another little roll. Rather than just where it says he walks on and nothing happens. It's raining, there's smoke in the sky, or it's stormy, you're freezing, you're wet. Do you stay under trees? Do you find a survival check to find somewhere to shelter? So, yeah, there's a lot of options to overrule the nothing much happens on the way to AXEHOLM, which is always the case. But the weather could be, where was it? Where we're going to when it absolutely threw it down? We're all wearing metal armour, and we're out in a thunderstorm. That's not good, all that kind of thing. So, yeah, I would have something on the way to AXEHOLM, because AXEHOLM itself is a little bit of a boring letdown. Not after we've done our work here today, though, guys. Not after that. Thrust out from the base of a dark grey mountain is the entrance to the Dwarven Fortress. A dark, 15-foot wide passageway flanked by 40-foot high bulwarks of smooth, seamless stone. An iron portcullis covered with rust blocks the entrance. Arrow slits carved into the bulwark are dark, revealing no hint of occupation. So, spooky, massive entrance with arrow slits either side of the fortress, which, if we look at the map thusly, we're looking at walking down A1, we've got A2 and A3, and we have these arrows, which are effectively ballistas. However, there's nobody really home. It's unused. We just have, ghouls, mainly. Now, what does it say about sneaking through? Entering the fortress is the character's first challenge, is what it says. Remove that. Go back to where we were here. Little bit of tapping. The portcullis is too heavy to lift. Its bars cannot be squeezed through. However, a small character can squeeze through an arrow slit. I mean, my God, how tight is this portcullis? I guess it's crossed, it's hashed, it's checked like that. So there is a portcullis winch on the other side. They are rusty. They need an athletics check. Chances are you might have a small creature. You could have a tiny creature if you've got, fairies in your pie, something like that. But the first thing they would see is 2 large chimneys. Although it does say numerous stone chimneys, but there's basically 2 ways in. Only the chimneys leading down to A21 and A23 can be used. A21 and A23 on the top floor, and either side. There is some blocked chimneys, so the other chimneys go down to effectively nothing. So the entrance A1. How do you get in, guys? It's smooth stone all around unless someone could fly. Well, can I throw a grappling hook up? Sure, why not? And I believe, I could be wrong, I believe if they do get up and go into the chimneys, I'm just looking at my notes, which you probably can't see on screen. Yeah, I've got, no, that doesn't seem like they fall straight into danger. Okay. Yeah. So let's go, get rid of that, add that, boom. So how do you get in, basically? What if you can't fly up? What if you can't squeeze through the arrow slits? You're just going to have to allow them to move the rusty portcullis. And that is fine, because ultimately we want them inside. Do they have pass-through stone or something at this stage? You know how my characters got in? Now I'm thinking about it. Misty Step. They Misty Stepped into, well, A1 or A3 and yoinked on the lever or whatever, the winch that raised the portcullis. Whatever they come up with, you want them inside, allow them to do it. Because getting inside like that is one of the more exciting bits. There's a lot of emptiness, which we're going to have to fill today. Climbing gear. You can scale them out with climbing gear. Yeah. Alright. Accepted. There are several ways to get in. So the primary entrance is blocked by portcullis. There's arrow slits. There's holes above where hot boiling oil used to be poured. That's ages ago. It's effectively worth nothing right now. Does this mean we should like give the sense that there's a threat? Like, do they feel like eyes are watching them? That could be all in their head. But if they peer through one of these holes and see massive ballistas, then, you know, perhaps we're trying to just scare the players. Characters hoping to get through the double doors must break them down, which takes an hour. The noise is loud enough to alert all the ghouls in the fortress, which gather in Area 4. Area 4 is like the main big room we'll look at shortly. And the fortress contains 3 dwarf ghouls, plus 3 additional ghouls for each character in the party. They are spread out, but it's talking about if they all gathered in one room. If they all gather in one room, then this really is overkill in one room, and then there's just an empty building. Which kind of sucks. Once again, we add this to the... Should I make that... That's probably better for you. So, yeah, if they come into A4, they got a big fight. So let's not do that. That would require ghouls to... I guess ghouls can walk through doors. So I'm not too annoyed about that. That's fair. So A4, move that. This. Yeah, so 2, they go past 2 and 3, which does have the ballistas in, and then there's a winch. Okay, now it says there you can go upstairs from here. That's possible, but knowing most players, most teams, they will room by room this. Each ballista is equipped with 5 bolts. It's insignificant. It could be 10 bolts, could be no bolts. That's not something to worry yourself with. And the eastern side is pretty much the same. So, you know, ballistas, yeah. Maybe there are bunches of arrows. Maybe there are long spears to jab through the arrow slits if the ballistas don't do the job. So maybe some extra weapons. Although there is an armory later on, but it's kind of crap. Oh, okay. Into Area 5. Let me show you Area 5. Where is Area 5? My little map. Oh, look, I've got the book in front of me. Okay, so it's left of the big room. We're just going to go numerically. This floor is strewn with bits of armour and gnawed bones because dwarves were killed here and eaten by ghouls. 1 ghoul for each member of the party, not including sidekicks, and the ghouls will chase the players down through doors and out of this room. They're not set just to this room. Now that is fine. Having ghouls in here makes sense. But then when you repeat ghouls later, I find that a bit dull. So There's other... Yeah, we can have ghouls. We can have more than just these few, but don't you think it's a little repetitive when zombies are there, when banshees, ghosts, anything like that are there to be used? Yeah. Armoury. In Area 6. The dwarves took all the weapons and armour from this area when they left. All that remains are empty stone weapon racks. Great. Wooden mannequins upon which once hung armour, doesn't anymore. Iron hooks in the walls that once bore shields. So you've created a room where there's hooks and empty shelves. Well, thanks for that. So, I would have them maybe be rusty on the hooks, but they can be salvaged. They can be scrubbed up and made nice. You can have... I think the players like to design the shields, You can have it repainted how you want in town at a blacksmith with fire all over it, go faster stripes, look like Captain America's shield. That's where some of the invention comes in. Same with your weapons. Get all your swords painted up really cool to match your outfit or whatever. So we're going up this left side, A6. A6, we've done A6, that's the armour. A7, the main barracks. There's loads of beds scattered all over. 2 fireplaces, stand cold and dark. And then the chimney above is blocked. We're piling through the rooms here. We've hardly had anything of interest. So, bring myself up here. Again, with the aid of many a book, and incidentally I have the Fantasy Tool kit, I have Tables, Fables full of miscellany, and I have Arcane Artifacts and Curious Curios, and we shall just look through some examples here. Oh, I've gone to this one first. Right, this has in it, if I flick through, and I'll go to the contents. Right, as jewellery, clothing, armour, these are like the chapters, weapons, books, journal, scrolls, potion, food and drink, tools, equipment, household objects, containers, boxes, bags, bottles, jars, trinkets and knickknacks and miscellaneous musical instruments, holy relics, cards, dice and gaming, maps, compasses and navigation. So this is what would be left behind. This is useful. Adventuring equipment you might find left around as people just discard what they have. Adventuring equipment 262. Common rope, fishing tackle, giant's strength bar, a large crowbar made from a strange bluish metal. Insignificant, you might think, but no, because players love these little trinkets. Hey, this just is the time to use my bluish metal crowbar. The crowbar is large and well designed, giving the user advantage on all strength checks when prying something opened. It's a crowbar, but players would love that stuff. Can we take a break to look at the comments? We've got comments. Julia! Hello, Julia. Thanks for watching. It's lovely to have you on the live stream. I don't think I know you. I don't think we've spoken before. We have Pupstar. Hello, Pupstar's been commenting on my magic items. He played 2nd edition, he told me. Julia has given me cash money! Boom! That is such a lovely, lovely thing to put your hand in your pocket. That is absolutely awesome, Julia. Thank you so much. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. And wonderful stuff. Pupstar, always nice to see your DM guide to the adventure. Yes, well, as I've said before, it's lovely that it gets any views. And today, having 5 comments in a row seems incredible. And then look at this. A super sticker. £30 super sticker. I mean, I might as well retire. I might as well just give up this channel and do everything that Pupstar wants. This is not that I'm counting, but this is just, big money coming in here. It's absolutely fantastic. And, it's just touched, surprised, shocked, and ever so thankful. So thank you, Pupstar. Thank you, Julia. Just awesome people. That is great. Thank you. Right. Where were we? We're trying to look at these books and trying to get some extra ideas. So we got that crowbar. Dynamite is in this book. Can we have dynamite in a castle? Why did they run away? Do we know why they run away? Let me look in the actual physical book. It's a dwarven fortress. Okay, right. The site was abandoned and sealed up long ago after being haunted by a banshee, an elf ambassador named Vildara, who tried and failed to foment civil unrest among the dwarves. The dwarves imprisoned the elf and sent messages to her people, asking that they come to her. So we do have a banshee in here. Ah, I remember now. So there is the banshee in here. Good. So yeah, when the elf spirit started filling the halls with deathly wails, which is awful from banshees, then yeah, everybody left. It took one banshee to rid this place of dwarves. Pupstar, you're welcome. Keep doing your amazing work. Thank you so much. Currently running Fandelver and below, and my guide has helped. Oh yes, wonderful. I hope that people continue to find my guides helpful. That's what I seem to be working on. I didn't honestly think that this sort of live stream would work, but hopefully people, will bother to sit through the lives, even on replay, and find things useful. Okay, so as I said, there's things in that we can plonk around this place. Let's move on till we get another empty room, which probably won't be very long from where we're at. How do I get this back up? This, like so. What room am I reading on? We've done main barracks, yeah, with the A7. A8. Tattered wool curtains conceal 3 neglected privies, each with a bench set against the back wall. And it was another common viewer of mine who comments. It's not called Curvy, but I always think of that when I see his name come up. And he was saying that their players were absolutely overwhelming stench once they entered into it. It was like magically sealed. Once you pulled the curtains back, absolutely hit you. And they just had fun with poo smell. That's basically that. But yeah, imagine the toilets being just left for, I don't know, hundreds of years. It doesn't bear thinking about. After the privies, we have a sturge in the smithy. Standing before 2 blackened hearths are a pair of rusty anvils. Because it's dwarves, that makes sense. That's where they once used anvils to fashion and repair their armour and weapons. So that gives us the chance for players to repair their weapons. Do you do damaged weapons? To this point, up to this point in the adventure, have you said, you've used your weapons a lot, they're starting to need resharpening? You could do, a crafting section where you say you need to do some checks to repair your armour. Oh, you're not proficient in that sort of thing, you don't know what you're doing. You can even go down to a 1 out of 10 and say, how well do you repair this armour or weapon? Does it come away more bent, more crooked? Or does the sword actually split in two? So it actually does kind of more severing damage. You could have fun with the anvils in A9. And then a fluttering sound can be heard coming from the southernmost fireplace, indicating the presence of a sturge. So sturges, blood-sucking bat-type things, pretty revolting, very squishy. But effectively it's like bats in the belfry. If anyone shines a light up there, just one sturge, flies out and attacks the nearest character or sidekick. So yeah, you could have it come out of a fireplace if somebody checks out a fireplace. That's much more on brand, I would say. So after the smithy is A10, dwarven armoursmiths and weaponsmiths stored their tools here, which still, thankfully, hang from hooks along the walls. They're a bit rusty. They're in serviceable shape if the characters wish to use them. Sometimes characters get lumbered with a weapon and they want to try a different one. And so this is a good option to say, look, if you want in a mace rather than a great hammer, we can put one here, you know. I mean, I'd just say that. Say, we've got an option here for you to find a weapon. What are you actually looking for? What do you want to find? I could do with finding some more crossbow bolts. Sure, you salvage those. You could be cruel and say out of a pack of 20 and roll a d20 and say that's how many arrows are usable. The others are too brittle. So yeah, there's an option for that. The empty room's just dull. Maybe we should look for some different armour that hasn't rusted because of its magical qualities. I'm going to randomly pick table fables in the hope that they have armour in this one. Now that I've said that. Items, armour table. Now in this book, I know you can't see, it has item condition a d6. 1 like new, 4 poor, 6 tattered, you know. Armour, padded cloth, what type? Padded cloth, leather, studded leather, breastplate, half plate, full plate, scale. So this just, this just gives to roll what weapons they have there. 8 a morning star, 12 a battle axe, 11 a longbow. You could do that. But I was looking for more. I'm going to go back to that last book. Looking for more like magical armour. So back to Arcane Curios. Light armour, heavy armour, helmets, breastplates. Let's go breastplates. I imagine them hammering these massive things. 109. I don't know what. Is it? Oh, cuirasses. Looks like a belt. I'm going to skip over that. I'm not confident with the word. Oh god, there's loads of them. Where's a breastplate? You said you had breastplates. You lied to me. Alright. Breastplate of the Angel. A golden breastplate with large wings etched on the backplate. Once per day, the user can sprout a pair of huge white wings and fly at double their running speed. The effects last for an hour, after which the feathers slowly fall away until the wings are gone. That'd be nice if you're feeling like flight isn't too crazy. Breastplate of Mikhail? While worn, the user cannot be magically sensed, followed, seen, or communicated with by gods. The user becomes immune to all holy magic. Is that crazy? I just think it gives this place a bit of a point, a bit of a reason. So that was the tool. Storage, area A11. 4 arrow slits. That's the thin corridor of 4. 4 arrow slits line the walls because it's leading up to the throne room. So this is where people would have been, like a second guard encampment as players came in to meet whatever dwarven lord was in here. So then either side is the west guard post and the east guard post. 2 ballistas point through arrow slits in the east wall. Each ballista is equipped with 5 bolts. I mean, yeah, why not? The gnawed bones of the east guard post, torn armour fragments and rusty battle axes of 2 dead dwarf guards lie in the middle of the room. The guards were trapped here by ghouls, killed and eaten. So yeah, the bodies are absolutely eviscerated, but another place to find dwarven-related items. What's that belt? Belt of dwarven kind, where you put it on and... what does it do? I know you can grow a beard, or you're more likely to be hairy. That's kind of funny. Because magic items don't rust and wither away. So if you want to do something like that, that's dwarf related off the top of my head. Again, 2 ballistas aimed at arrow slits in the west wall, come equipped with 5 bolts apiece. Looking at the map, right, I asked you a question. How did they get massive ballistas in a room with a tiny door? That's what I'm thinking. I guess you'd say, well, they just constructed them in there. Well, you have the option to have double doors. Yeah, just a thought. So we're up to area 14 here. The stench of death hangs heavy in the air of this dusty, pillared hall, which has dark, soot-stained fireplace at the east end. A deep alcove in the south wall contains a dais, atop which rests a limestone throne flanked by granite statues of dwarven warriors. Now, they do love giant statues, don't they, dwarves? Between the throne and the fireplace is a hallway with stairs going up. So hiding behind this throne is a ghoul, and it specifies how many hit points it has. For what reason? This was originally 2014 stats, which will be in this book. The ghoul has an average of 22 health, according to the book that comes with it. 22 health. So 5d8 max, and it's said to have 40 health. Okay. Well, that's full health, isn't it? 5 times 8, 5d8s. This creature is all that remains of the dwarf Castellan, who stayed behind to seal up the fortress after most of the garrison fled from the Banshee. He's now a ghoul. The ghoul is the source of the hall's foul stench, which gets stronger closer to the throne. There is a bit of a perception check. DC 13 would probably be underneath the passive perception that in my games I make little cards that I put on my DM screen, and on my side it will say player name, AC 10, passive perception 12. And so when I see it says to spot okay, I've gone wrong, let's go. Passive perception 15. And when I see that the ghoul's got a sort of hide score of 10 or something, it's like something is hiding behind the throne. Not only can you smell it, you can see its feet underneath the, I'd say you perceive it. You'd sense it's there and you're not stupid. And that's why passive perception's quite cool sometimes. If you wish to give away that surprise, of course, you can have it jump out. Why would it hide? Why would it be hiding behind the throne? It's a ghoul. It's mindless, surely, right? If any character looks at the throne, it lets out a shriek and attacks. The shriek is heard by more ghouls. Do we need more ghouls? Probably not. But they do crawl down the chimney, which is kind of creepy, and clamber out of the fireplace. The group contains 2 soot-covered ghouls, plus an additional ghoul for each member of the party, not including your sidekicks. After all the creatures in the hall have taken a first turn in combat, these ghouls join the battle, acting on the same initiative. So I reckon it's sort of suggesting that you have, there's one ghoul, that's alright, and all the players, let's say it's a party of 4, all those players get a round of combat with just one ghoul in it, and then at the beginning of round 2, out of the fireplace and the chimney, which when I think of it is the same sort of place, then suddenly you've got these soot-covered ghouls, and it goes from a fight against one ghoul to a fight against, 5 ghouls? That is kind of cool. But I just find that the fact we're using ghouls so many times to be a bit of a letdown, when there's not even in third-party books, without the third-party books, there's still plenty of other things. Of course, you can use the ghoul's stats, don't forget about that, but actually describe it as something entirely different. Like Slender Man sort of, you know, really thin, skinny, 7 foot tall. It shimmers as it walks, but you're still using the ghoul stats. Just don't be like, here's another ghoul. Oh yeah, some more ghouls. You know? You can say they're zombies, but give them the ghoul stats, for example. Now then, there's some treasure to be spoken about. This ghoulish castellan behind the throne wears a golden signet ring that bears the AXEHOLM crest. A hand axe clutched in a dwarven gauntlet is the sign. The signet ring's worth a little bit of gold, and it unlocks a chest because it has to be pushed into this chest and turned. So it's worth mentioning, oh, there's a glimmer of light, although it's completely riddled with filth and dirt and rot. You do see a golden ring on its finger. So no one's going to ignore that, I wouldn't have thought, unless they just forget and have to come back for it after you say, well, you did see a ring earlier. So that takes us on to the room of dining, the dining room. In the middle of this room, hang on, let me look at the map, A15. I have got my glasses on and I still can't see my own map on my screen that size. Oh, it's there. A15, so we've done 14. Oh yeah, off to the side at the bottom, 15 and 16, and then we go the other side. So down the left, yeah. A15, the dining room. Well, we have a carved stone dining table. It's 15 foot long, 5 foot wide, flanked by equally long wooden benches. 2 chandeliers, candles are melted away, sure. And then there's a sooty fireplace and an alcove containing a rough-hewn pit that descends down somewhere. There's loads of handholds and footholds allowing the characters to climb down this pit with a fairly easy athletics check. At the bottom, mouldy animal bones and other refuse discarded by the dwarves after their meal. It's a bin. That's all it is. Of course, if somebody takes the time to go down there, nice to have a little bit of treasure down there, I would say. Brings me back to looking in a randoms table book. I'm going to opt for Roll and Play Press. Let's see, items and rewards. Do we want it to be magical or not? Interior loot. Let's just see what's on that table. Interior loot. That's quite vague. To be found in cabinets, boxes, drawers, and cupboards. Okay. Who wants to give me a number? Type me a number between 1 and 20. While I have a drink of tea. And I know there's a bit of a delay on comments. But yeah, I find this to say it's such a small book, I find this Roll and Play Press book dead useful. No one's talking to me. Alright, okay, fair enough. So I'll do them. Let's see. There's a bottle full of bubbling liquid. It says, use when in trouble. It's written on one side. We don't know what it does. We can have that on the player. We don't know what this is. Can I use an Arcana check? Yeah, you don't quite know what it is. We can make whatever we need out of that. We could go to enlarge. Imagine if it had like the enlarge or reduce spell in a way. So I've gone straight to Alice in Wonderland, haven't I? But yeah, I like the idea of not quite knowing what it does ourselves, but to root down in a hole and not come up with something other than smelly junk. A screwed up map, which apparently leads to treasure the owner has given up on. That's cool. That's cool. We can put that up in the mountain or on the way to the final dragon, maybe? Or down near the Tower of Storms on the coast. You know, maybe... Yeah, because there won't be in the Tower of Storms yet, I imagine. So if you look at the Tower of Storms map and kind of draw a very vague outline of that, when they get there, you'll say, hang on, there's some treasure buried just off of this place. Yeah, I like that idea. So down in the bottom of that hole, there we go. We've given them something rather than nothing. The dining room, what that was. We'll go to stats in a bit, if I remember, which I probably will. A16 is just the kitchen. The kitchens are usually just like this one. They don't seem to put any effort into the kitchen. The dusty room has all the trappings one expects to find in a dwarven kitchen. Dishware, utensils. But what do utensils mean? It could mean all sorts of sharp knives. I know players were like, oh yeah, can I take those 6 silver sharp knives? Thank you. Drinking mugs, a stone sink with a faucet. Yeah. When it turns, spouts hot water from an underground heated spring. That's good. You can remind them, sometimes you got to have a wash. Your players stink from all the travel. And again, I'm sure some of these books have. Let's see if there's any inspiration other than just like kitchenware, which we might not be. We might not get. Potions and food and drink. I suppose potions could be a kitchenware. 283. Come on, make this worthwhile for me, please. Alright, what does it say? You find a delicate floral teacup rimmed with gold. This teacup will keep tea, coffee, and any other beverage hot and fresh until consumed. It's a magical teacup. That is not gonna break the game, I wouldn't have thought. A bread box. The inside of this box is warm and humid. Any food placed in it will remain warm and fresh. That's why the dwarves have kept it, because, it's useful. A knife of sharpness. This knife never dulls. A simple kitchen knife. A single tiny rune has been etched on the blade near the handle. That's just good, isn't it? 2-day wine barrel. Daniel's potato peeler. A small, simple vegetable peeler with a well-worn handle. When the command word is uttered, this peeler will begin peeling vegetables on its own. Again, not game-breaking, but fun. So there you go. There's the kitchen. Normal kitchen utensils. Could they take a belt and a chopping board and tie it to their wrist and have a makeshift mini shield, which does +1 rather than +2, like a shield would? I don't know. Just thought of that. The East Hall is in ruins. That's number 17. An earthquake hit it and the ceiling collapsed. The eastern half of this hall is difficult terrain. You probably know already that's half movement. But it stinks of death as they move towards Area 19. 17 is... Yeah, so you see it's collapsed on the map. 18 is a small side room, and then we get to 19. So 18 next. This 15-foot square room was cleaned out by dwarves before they evacuated. Only dust remains. Only dust remains. An empty room, as if... just a room where there's just a kitchen stuff wasn't boring enough. Only dust remains. How exciting. There is a chance for a small attack, an encounter of some sort. A skeleton that looks cursed, or is cursed, and it's holding, with some sort of skin rot where the body starts to decay, and it holds a scroll though. So if you take the scroll, maybe it's a scroll of fireball, anyone can use it, or that's not quite how those work, but sort of risk and reward. This empty room suddenly was worth your time. A19, the ghoul den. This seems to be suggest it's something useful. Characters can reach this area by following the naturally formed tunnel from A17 or by descending the stone staircase from A24. The door to the north has been smashed open and its remains are strewn on the floor. The stench of death and decay grows stronger as the characters approach this room, and they can hear hisses and snarls of the ghouls that lair there. More ghouls. The room contains one ghoul, plus one additional ghoul for each member. So, parties amount +1. After dealing with the ghouls, the characters look at the room more closely. It was once a shrine, as evidenced by wall carvings depicting dwarves carrying censers and observing religious rites. However, the eastern section has collapsed, filling with rubble. There's gnawed bones because of the dwarf remains. Searching through the rubble. Do characters search through the rubble? Mine sometimes do. They find 2 treasures. A platinum amulet on a thin but sturdy gold chain. It's a holy symbol of Moradin, the dwarven god. These bears his symbol, a hammer and an anvil. Any dwarf character recognises this symbol immediately, while anyone else has got a religion check. An unlocked steel coffer. Inside is a potion of superior healing. Superior, 8d4 plus 8 hit points. And whenever you find big heals, you know there's an imminent attack. In A20, it's just a narrow tunnel which ghouls have dug, connecting the upper and lower levels. So bear in mind that it goes up. Oh yeah. So that's cool. That's cool. You've got an easy way to go up and down those stairs. Stairs? No, ignore the stairs. 21. The East Upper Barracks. The ghouls trashed this room, leaving behind wrecked beds, chairs, tables and other furnishings. A blackened fireplace in the wall and its chimney goes out. This might be where the characters come in which they come into a smashed up room. They will immediately search... let's look in another book. Okay, my characters, I'm imagining. My characters come down into a smashed up room. Knickknacks. Let's go knickknacks. 25. I'm now looking in the table of fables. I have a D100. No one is wanting to do that for me, so I'll do it myself. A violin that will not make a sound despite being in perfect condition. A simple box that when opened plays an acoustic version of a popular bard song. A human skull that occasionally whispers in a forgotten language. Knickknacks make it fun. And you never know that when one of these weird knickknacks will come in and players will be like, no, I couldn't find that. Where did you get that? It's not in the DMG. But I ran it for somebody else and I could never find that weird skull you used. So we're upstairs now. That was 21. 22, the Upper Bastion. Ah yes, the Upper Bastion, 22. Okay. This large chamber extends over where they come in. It has those holes in the ceiling where oil gets poured through. I would say half empty or full barrels of oil. There's lots of thick webs strung between the pillars. We get several giant spiders, plus 3 spiders. Hang on. 3 spiders plus 1 additional spider. Okay. That's not what I thought. Yeah, spiders are fun. Spiders are cool, you know, especially in this sort of beginner adventure. Giant spiders, icky, you know. Jumping onto that, I think this, it's 2014 rules. AC 14, 26 average health. Good at stealth. And now the thing about this reminds me that the whole place is not lit. There are sconces around, but generally speaking, the place is in pitch black until they light something. And not all players do have dark vision. There are 2 fireplaces. One, which we use to heat cauldrons of oil. Yes, we discussed that. 3 empty cauldrons line up against the wall. There's arrow slits and stone stairs. In 23. Okay, that's by the staircase. The west upper barracks is a fireplace, of course. Hanging from a hook is a non-magical steel shield bearing the symbol of AXEHOLM. A dwarven gauntlet clutching a hand axe. And yeah, they could come down here and immediately find a shield. A shield gives you +2, and it's pretty cool. but I don't really know. It feels like it should have been a magical shield. You know? Either, well, you can do it how you want. Give them a +3? Huh? Don't know. Dwarves like a fight. Perhaps it's like extra. That's why it's not rusted. And then you've got loads of other dusty, smashed up stuff. Giving them just a non-magical shield seems a bit odd. Okay, now we get to what this adventure is all about. This is the Banshee that haunts the east-west stretch of this hall. A strange place to put a Banshee, if you ask me. I know from ghostly sightings it came across the hall, that sort of thing, but you've got all these rooms, like the last room where we said that the holes in the floor come down. I'd like quite a large area to have this Banshee encounter. It could go through the walls, move room to room, so that the players have to rush through doors and follow it around, which is where my suggestion at the end will be. Put traps. This place, if it's so fortified, have them Banshee chase from room to room, and a massive thing falls down when they open the door, right in the guts, you know? What am I thinking of? Home Alone. Home Alone, those fools. If the characters flee the... Oh, hang on. It comes out, it's an elf, and it screams, "Get out of my house." Yeah, why not? It probably turns violent, and then it uses horrifying visage. It uses its whale, the deadly whale. We'll look at the 2024 Banshee, if I remember, at the end. I've got ghasts or ghouls ready. A25. The earthquake caused part of this hall to collapse. A double door in the west wall leads to a small stone balcony overlooking A4. Several ghouls gather in A26, a ghoul bath. Several ghouls. 2 ghouls plus 1 additional ghoul free. Oh, sorry, okay, so it's the party plus 2. The ghouls enter and leave through a 2-foot diameter hole in the wall, which breaks into the chimney of 14. In the middle of the room stands a bathtub with gnawed dwarven bones. The tub is equipped with a faucet, which, you know, hot water, yeah. This is why it would be a good place for the villagers to actually move to, if they need to. A stone plug seals the drain in the tub's bottom. So, more ghouls and the Banshee. A27, the bedchamber of the Banshee. Its furniture has decayed with age and covered with dust and cobwebs. It's got to have something nice in here, hasn't it? It says leaves nothing of value, but it's an elf, but the elf's possessions were taken. Leave something. Hidden under a floorboard, hidden in a wall. You know. Have some... Is it possible to... I'm thinking about maybe in the top corner, someone's taped... No, won't work, would it? An invisible bag? So if someone rolls really high, they're sort of sliding their hand around the wall and they knock something invisible, and it's full of money? Is that fair? A28, the Castellan's bedchamber. No one's talking to me. A stone-framed bed with a mouldy mattress stands in the middle of the room, covered in dust and cobwebs. There is a sturge nest. We've already had sturges. We want something different. We talked about using, like, bees earlier. Why can't we have a big wasp nest? Or giant... Is there such thing as giant wasps in this? I'm not sure. Pushing on the secret door causes the secret door to swing open. The secret vault. Against the south wall is a chest. An 80-pound iron chest with clawed feet. Its built-in lock bears the indentation for that ring that the guy had downstairs. Closer inspection reveals a tiny symbol of a hand axe clutched in a gauntlet. Oh, yes. You put the ring in, you twist it. The chest can be unlocked with dexterity checks from Thieves' Tools, or by knock spell, or by the signet ring. It contains a dread helm. What is that? What is a dread helm? And if I click this, will you still see? No. Let's look at what I'm looking at. And to the stage. Oopsie. That looks pretty cool. This fearsome steel helm makes your eyes glow red and hides the rest of your face in shadow while you wear it. That is awesome! Now that's what I mean by these silly magic trinkets that I was talking about. You know, cups that heat up your drink all the time. This is a, cool helmet. It doesn't really do anything mechanically. It's just, who wouldn't want to wear that helmet and have their face look awesome? I don't know that guy. And twin this with Gauntlets of Ogre Power. Checking that you can see that page, yes. It's a wondrous item. Requires attunement. Your strength score is 19 while you wear these gauntlets. You can't go above 19. Spiffing. Lovely stuff. Yeah, really nice. So if you made that shield, match these and have a +3, it's like a set, So we've actually downstairs, we put a breastplate. So you've got a helm, a breastplate, gloves and a shield. That improves this chapter already. Now let me see if I can lead you to show you my notes that I made. If I bring up my notes so I can present. Do this. Do I have to do that? And do this. Share a screen. It's not going to let me do that, I don't think. I wonder. No, it's not letting me show my notes. Right, well, my notes for your info. Let's show you them. I'm going to read them rather. So, to summarise, we've got travel encounters. Oops. We've got travel encounters over grasslands without incident, except wind and rain / weather die. Roll the weather die, make it interesting. They first see the stone chimneys sticking out of a mountainside into the top of floors A1, A21, A23. A1, my DM notes. The portcullis is rusted but movable if you take ages to smack it down, which in turn alerts ghouls. 3 ghouls plus 3 ghouls per PC. They can be dealt with here and done with. Or, you can spread them out round the building, which I suggest you do. The ceiling has oil trap holes to boil intruders. A2 and 3, 5 ballistas, X arrows, however many you want to put in it. Roll a d6, A4, an empty room with a balcony over a stone pillared space with several double doors off. A5, 1 ghoul per PC, and it chases the players around the building. A6, empty racks for weapons? No. A7, 2 fireplaces, all tight beds? No. A8, toilets with curtains? Boring. A9, that sturge flopping in an old smithy. A10, tools room. A11, arrow slits point at the walk to the throne room. A12 and 13, ballistas, corpses. 14 is a smelly ghoul in a throne room. Insert new monster. Yes. Perhaps we can actually put something better. What about a lich? Or one of those super new ghouls? We'll have a look. Dining room and kitchen. Difficult terrain roof collapse. Only dust remains room. No, we've fixed all this. A19, ghouls +1 and treasure. A20, ghouls dug a tunnel. A21, possible entrance from above. A22, giant spiders and the holes for the oil to be poured through. I guess you could shoot arrows through that as well. A23, possible entrance, a shield on the wall. A24, a banshee in a weird spot. It could retreat to its chambers. A25 is a hall with rubble. A26, ghouls +1 or a new monster. A zombie? A a wolf that's turned undead because it's been eaten by a ghoul. Banshee room, and it says nothing of value. We fixed that. We just add random treasure. A28, Sturges, +1, and a secret door, and then chest with good treasure and some toilets. Now, my final notes were, could we change the layout? This is potentially too large. This is potentially too large a place. So we could also like reduce the map size and make the empty, boring rooms just have what is upstairs in. We can add puzzles to some of the doors or to the chest with the legs on at the end. We can add traps as they go around, door traps, passageway traps that's still active. How about the dwarves aren't ghouls, but they're zombie dwarves, and we need to either kill the zombie dwarves rather than the ghouls, or allow the zombies to be let out because of their like military service, maybe the players respect. Do you want to let these zombies out just to die by other people, or to be, eaten by animals, just to let them have one last go at freedom, I was thinking. Now, of course, dwarves could well have got a small horde. As it is, they don't in this one. But you could give them a horde, and there's such thing as a mimic horde. Have them be chased around by piles of gold. I can't remember what book it's in, but mimic horde is something I've yet to do. Well, that sounds cool, doesn't it? I think so. Was this a possible lair for Crionvane, the white dragon? We know it's over at Icespire Hold. Maybe there's signs that it came here and frosted. Maybe that's why the roost collapsed. A dragon landed on it, dug its way through, obliterated the dwarven ghouls, and they're like popsicles. We could have that. That's kind of cool. Or we could have it already populated by a competing faction. Now, you can have any of the normal factions, or you could have a completely different adventuring group. As if how we all play these games with our own parties. What if you invent a completely 4 or 5 playered, there's an orc barbarian, there's an elven, and they're all NPCs, and it allows you to do a total party kill and then still have, remember that group you met at AXEHOLM? You're now playing them. It's a bit of a backup. And that group of NPCs, if you do a total party kill, can come in and pick up all the equipment that your players dropped. And you could say, look, you don't have to be an elf lady. You can, whatever character you want to choose next, that's who this person was, So yeah, just a bit of a backup. Somebody could already live here, and maybe along with the ghouls that are trapped in certain rooms, like do not enter. That is my suggestions, pretty much. And now, I'll do what I said I was going to do, and bring up the monster manual, where I had ghoul pretty much ready to go. Ghouls. I'm just thinking about... Right. So, ghouls. Lovely picture of a ghoul. This is what they see when they enter AXEHOLM, as it is written. Let me look at the old stats and compare. Or maybe the next big ghoul was stronger. The ghoul, according to the stats here, AC 12 on screen. 22 health, 30 speed. The bite was +2. It's now +4. It was 9 piercing damage. It is now 5 plus 3, which is still only 8. That's weird. Claws. If the target isn't an undead or an elf, it's subjected to a save where it can be paralysed. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Let's look at the... They have dark vision, of course, so... So these are also AC 12. 22 health. Are these... What's the difference? Oh, they make 2... Ooh, they make 2 icy bite attacks. Plus 4, which reduces speed. That's nice. I like that. You can just take that and plop it in a normal ghoul. Claws, yeah, do the same thing. The bonus action, while underwater... it's an underwater thing. Okay. What about if Cryon Vein came and ice breathed the ghouls before thinking, oh, I can't be bothered with this, too much hassle. I'm going to go find them somewhere else to make my lair, which it did. And turned some of these ghouls, maybe on the upper floor, into these icy versions. That uses the ghouls, like it says, but gives a new flavour, something more interesting. So we're not just fighting the same old thing. Gibbering mouther. No, that's not what we need. So yeah, that was cool. Let's look for Banshee in the new stuff. Let me get the old thing again. What's this? Banshee Sorrows? What's that? Banshee, yes. Lovely howly howly. So presumably we have Banshee stats in the... Yeah, we do. It was AC 12. It is AC 12. It was 58 health. It is 54 health. All the same. All the same. Yep. What does it be doing? Its traits. It can magically sense people. Detect. Yeah, up to... Ooh, it used to be able to detect up to 5 mile away, which is a bit crazy. It's now down to 1. That's more... Actually, I prefer that. It can move through other creatures and difficult, as if they were difficult terrain. I believe that's the same. 2 Corrupting Touch. The Corrupting Touch is now plus 5 rather than plus 4. It used to hit for 12 damage. It now only hits for 7. Of course you can make that 12. You can combine these. DC 13 save on the horrifying... Well, it's now called horrifying. What's horrifying visage? Frightened. Once a day wail or deathly wail. DC 13... Wait, it was... Yeah, DC 13, oh yeah. Drops to 0 hit points. Yeah, it does. Otherwise does... Yep, that's psychic damage. So nothing much. It just hits ever so slightly harder. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, I do like a Banshee. You can play with that save as well. The save that makes them drop down, that DC 13. Don't be afraid to up it. Don't be afraid to lower it to 10 or 9 and give them it 3 times a day. That would be something possibly worth doing. And what else there were? There were giant spiders. I suggested zombies. Do we get any type of new undead like that? Maybe if I go creature type. Because I know the theme of the AXEHOLM itself. Oh yeah, we have revenants. Undead. Yeah. Behold the zombie. Death Knight's too much. Demilich too much. Ghast. Revenant. I suggested having, a lich. I presume they're too nasty, really. What do they hit like? AC 20 for a start. Oh, look at the health on that thing. Yeah, yeah, okay. That was a bad I erased that. I take that back. What about a Graveyard Revenant? 161. No, thank you. 100. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not a Revenant. Skeletons? There were no skeletons in there. Spectres are kind of cool. Wraiths. What I'm saying is, it doesn't have to be ghoul after ghoul after ghoul. Did we look at ghasts? Ghasts, yes. Yes, yes, yes. They stink. Ghast Gravecaller. That's potentially alright as well. That hits at about +6, paralyzes. I would consider this as the main guy downstairs, the Castelia, whatever, dwarf, who's now this. 97 health with 4 or 5 players who are level 5. That's fine. That is fine. Of course, ghosts. Yeah, you've got a mix of undead to choose from, should you so desire, for AXEHOLM. And yeah, I think we're done for this week already. That went quick. Any questions? Any comments? I will give you a moment. You know, are you planning to run this? Have you run it and had good or bad experiences? In the meantime, I am doing some members only live streams, and we're looking at Radiant Citadel, is it called? I did one the other day, and thank you to whoever's Julia and Pupstar who sent me cash money by super stickers. That was awesome. Top people. Great to have you watching along. If you don't have any questions, which it doesn't seem like you do, let's see. I can't do it now. I've knocked it off. Yeah, I don't know what's next. Is it Tower of Storms? Maybe. We shall see. But hopefully this will. Someone's just joined, and I'm afraid this is the end of the stream. So, of course, it's available for watching at your own leisure now. So yeah, I'm signing off, basically, is what I'm saying. Thank you so much. I hope to see you next Sunday. I think on Wednesday, the new Tomb of Annihilation video's out. It's when it starts to get going. Well, I'm pleased with that sort of video from here on in. Thank you, viewers. You are the best. And take care, and I'll see you next week.